kids, go get your Pop-Tart. Hey, kids, go get your yogurt. Hey, kids, go get your donut early in the morning. Time for Miss Aimee Sunday morning. Time for Miss Aimee Sunday morning. Time for Miss Aimee Sunday morning. Morning show for children. Ha 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 ha!
Okay. Good morning, and thank you for joining us for Mrs. Aimee's Sunday morning show. This week, we're going to continue with our Lenten series, and we're going to talk about sacrificing. Remember that during Lent, we focus on being thoughtful and reflective. And when we are thoughtful and reflective, we can do that by prayer, sacrifice, and giving. Today, Thatcher has a great question for us about sacrifice. Thatcher, let's hear your question.
Why do people give up things for Lent?
Sacrifice sounds like a weird word, doesn't it? The sacrifice we are talking about today is the act of giving up a possession or activity as an offering to God. Sometimes you might also hear someone say that they are fasting. During the season of Lent, you may have heard someone say, "I gave up sweets for Lent," or "I'm staying off social media for Lent." Both of these are acts of giving something up. But why do we give something up during Lent? I can give you 2 reasons. First, remember when I told you that Lent lasts for 40 days, and it represents the 40 days that Jesus spent in the wilderness to prepare for his death and resurrection? During Jesus' time in the wilderness, he fasted, which means he had nothing to eat during those 40 days. If we sacrifice or give up something we enjoy during Lent, we are reminded of Jesus' sacrifice while he was in the wilderness. Second, remember when we said that Lent was a time to be thoughtful and reflective? When we sacrifice or give something up during Lent, it helps us to take our attention away from the item or activity and instead direct our attention towards being thoughtful and reflective about our relationship with God. For example, if you said you were going to fast or sacrifice from your iPad during Lent, it would be appropriate to pray during some of the time you would have normally played Roblox or watched a YouTube video. Sacrifice is arguably the hardest of our 3 Lenten themes. Praying is part of our everyday lives, and giving or sharing is something I know that you guys are great at doing. When we sacrifice or give something up, we often have to look at what activities or things that distract us from our everyday lives, and sometimes it's hard to admit that those distractions are there anyway, and that we are not as focused on our relationship with God as much as we would like to be. So Thatcher, you had one more question.
Did you give anything up for Lent, Miss Aimee?
Well, here's the scoop, and I'll tell you. Mrs. Aimee gave up going to the library for Lent. I know what you're thinking. How could going to the library be a distraction? Going to the library is something I do multiple times a week. I love reading and finding new books. You could say the library is my happy place. During Lent, I am not visiting my happy place. I am reading books that I already have at home and spending the time I normally would looking for books and visiting my librarian friends by praying, meditating, and spending time with God. I would love to hear what you guys sacrificed or gave up for Lent.
Thatcher, that was a great question, and I hope you got your answer. Remember, guys, if you have any questions, you can send them in so that we can have them here on our show together. I love learning new things with you. I hope you'll join us next week, and I'll see you then.